Okay, today we're diving into an idea from the scriptures that is, well, it's completely upside down. It's a kingdom where you gain power by actually giving it away. I know, it sounds impossible, but stick with me, because it's the key to understanding a totally different kind of authority. Now, just read that again. It's a total paradox, right? It just flies in the face of everything we see in the world. But this is the mystery we're going to unpack. How could refusing power possibly be the actual path to power?
The reason this all sounds so backward is pretty simple. We're conditioned by the world we live in. I mean, we see it every day. Authority, power, influence, these things are almost always taken by force.
Just think about how power works in our world. Nations rise through war. Kings secure their thrones with bigger and better armies. It's a system built on force. And then, in the middle of all that, Jesus stands before a Roman governor and says something that changes everything. My kingdom is not of this world. He's basically telling us I play by a completely different set of rules. But here's the thing, this paradox isn't really about politics or earthly power. It's designed to reveal something much deeper, something going on inside the human heart. It actually exposes this fundamental conflict that's inside all of us. You see, this reveals a huge tension in our hearts. We say we want God's kingdom. Of course we do. But if we're being really honest with ourselves, what we often really want is control. Control of our own little kingdom. We want to be the king of our own life, our career, our future. And what does that look like in real life? Well, it's that constant need to manage every outcome, right? To kind of influence what other people do and to make sure we get the recognition and status we think we deserve. This is the default setting of the human heart. And this really gets to the core of it all. We are all drawn to the glory of the crown. Who wouldn't be? But the path to that crown in God's kingdom, it leads directly through the cross. And that's a path of surrender, a path that, let's be real, very few are willing to take. So you might be asking, how is this even possible? Well, we have to look at the ultimate example. This isn't just some abstract theory. It was lived out perfectly in the life of Jesus Christ himself. Can you just picture this moment? The king of the entire universe is on trial, being judged by a temporary, earthly politician. Jesus could have ended it in a split second. He could have called down legions of angels and established a global kingdom right then and there. But he deliberately chose not to. The question is, why? It's because his kingdom isn't built on external force, it's built on internal surrender. It doesn't start by conquering lands and armies. It starts by conquering a single, unbelievably stubborn territory, the human heart that has willingly given up its own claim to the throne. And in doing that, Jesus establishes this divine pattern, one that completely flips the world's model on its head. In his kingdom, the path to reigning, to real glory, actually begins with suffering, not for no reason, but as a test of our loyalty. The journey is laid out for us, right here. It starts with step 1, surrendering our desperate need to be in charge. Step 2 is a season of faithfully enduring, especially when it feels like we're losing. And only then, only after that, does it lead to step 3, the incredible promise of reigning with Christ. You know, the early church, they got this. They lived it out. They didn't raise armies or try to overthrow the Roman Empire. They served their enemies. They endured persecution. And to the world, they looked weak, even foolish. But from heaven's perspective, they were future rulers in training. And that brings us to the incredible promise for everyone who chooses to walk this upside-down path. See, this isn't just about being a good person now. It's about being prepared for a real, tangible responsibility in the future. I mean, this is a direct promise, right from Scripture. The condition is endurance, that steady, patient loyalty to Christ, even when it costs us everything. And the promise is just staggering. We will share his authority. We will actually reign. The Bible talks about this specific time in the future, often called the Millennial Kingdom. It's when Christ will return to rule this earth in perfect justice and peace for 1,000 years. And who's going to be governing with him? Not the power brokers and influencers of today, but the quiet, faithful servants who endured. I mean, just look at this contrast. It's night and day. The world's operating system is all about aggression, self-promotion, and grabbing all the power you can, right now. But the kingdom's operating system, it's the total inverse. Surrender,
quiet faithfulness, and preparing to reign later. These are two fundamentally opposed ways to live your life.
Let this one sink in for a minute. Right now, today, in those quiet moments of obedience, in the costly choices of integrity you make when no one's watching, in those unseen acts of service, heaven is preparing rulers. Your faithfulness today is literally your training for tomorrow's kingdom.
So, all of this, everything we've talked about, it leads to one deeply personal question. It forces every one of us to turn the lens inward. The world is constantly screaming at us, isn't it? Fight for your rights, build your brand, seize your throne. But the invitation from Jesus is the polar opposite. It's a whisper. Deny yourself, carry your cross, and follow me. So here's the question for you and for me. When you really look at your ambitions, your gut reactions, your daily decisions, who are you building for? Are you trying to build up your own little kingdom of comfort and control? Or are you truly building for the kingdom of Christ? And ultimately, just all comes down to this. What kind of heart do you have? Is it a heart that's still grasping for control? Or is it one that's finally learning to surrender? Because the final promise remains, and it is the beautiful, baffling, upside-down logic of God's kingdom. The servants who refuse the sword, they are the very ones who will receive the throne.